Hi, I'm Jerry. I want to talk about chart management, and this topic's kind of near and dear to me because it's all about building your chart grids. And I've discovered over the years that having a variety of different charts and how you manage the data that's on those charts and the studies that are on those charts is very important. At least to me, it's very important. So I thought I would spend a little bit of time and talk about managing those things. So first thing I would like to mention is that we're looking at a nondescript chart right here. Interesting colors, HBO 10/20 2022. Everything that I do, I put a date stamp on it. So for today's demo, I'm going to create a copy of this chart grid, which is going to consist of the following six charts. And I just thought I'd go through the exercise of what I would typically do. So in today's scenario, I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to say save grid as, and I'm going to call it just IC demo. IC demo, and I'm going to put a date on it. And today's date is 11/8. 11-8, excuse me, 2022, and we'll save it. So if I come over here and I look at this guy now, and I come down to my window, I see demo 11/8 2022. So that's the grid that I just saved. And for each chart that's in that grid, we'll just pick the first one. So every one of the studies that I create also has a date stamp in it. So I can go back and keep track of who's who and what's what, whatever I've got in there. So one of the things that's pretty cool about having a snapshot like this is, for instance, if you were to go to this particular first chart that we've got, and we'll just say you wanted to delete the information bar for whatever it is, you wanted to change it, and now the information bar is gone. Info bar is gone, and for whatever reason, you decided you wanted to do some other things. For instance, you wanted to change the time period on this chart, and you went from 1 year to 10-year monthly chart on this guy. So if you want to get back to your basic fundamental chart, all you need to do is grab this guy, come back here to IC demo 11/8 2022, and voila, it's going to bring it back and snap it into place. Now the next thing that you can do, so that's very useful, because if you decide you're looking at something and you decide for whatever reason you wanted to look at a different time frame than what you were at, hypothetically this long-term chart, you want to look at it, just hypothetically, just we got 3 years, I want to look at 5 years for whatever, I could do that. And you could do it to a number of other plots, if you will, that are in this grid, and it wouldn't be a big deal. You know how to get it back to your baseline, and you know what your baseline is, so let's put it back to 11/8 2022. So the next thing that you can do, that's from a standpoint of managing a grid, if you will, is you could expand that grid. For instance, let's talk about styles for a little bit. Hypothetically, if I go to, let's just say I went to, let's go to this one here, and I wanted to grab this, I wanted to put this, a derivative of this chart on some other plot. For instance, this is 9 months. Let's say I wanted to have a 2-year plot of this. So I could come over here to this guy. The first thing I want to do is capture its style. And the style, save style as. Scratch is a very useful one I like a lot. Include patterns and study set. You have to do that because that grabs. If you don't get any of the studies. So that's kind of important. You want to. Have you used Scratch in the past? Sure, overwrite Scratch. So now if you come over here to this guy and you decide I wanted to expand it, and I've got 2 empty slots over here, and I want to put let's say I wanted to put that one that I just captured, which was right here, I believe. We can make it bigger. I think it was, nope, it was this one right here. So I want to put it in this window. So I come over here to this guy, and I'm going to expand this chart right here, maximize the cell, and then I'm going to come over here to, you have to give it a name. If you don't have a name, you can't play the game. So in this particular case, I'm just going to turn on the red link, because the red link goes back to this watch list. So it's got the red link on, and the red link is on right here. So whatever I select on this watch list is what it sees over here. So this is the vanilla chart. So there's nothing on here except price, and I don't know where it's at, someplace in there. But let's say that I went to style and I said load style, and the style that I wanted to put on there was, I think it was Scratch. Boom, and there it is. So now there's my new guy. I came up here and I said I want to change the date. And this, of course, you can do anything you want. I said let's make this it's going to go from 9 months to 3 years. Bam. So I now have a 3-year weekly plot of the same thing. And if I go back to the whole Shazam, there is my 9-month plot, and there is my 3-year plot of this thing. So if I come back and I save this, I put this to maximize my cell, which is typically how I like to run these things, because I kind of know where the charts are at, so I can go to any one of my studies in here, and I can cycle through whatever it is I got. So in this particular case, I had an IC demo 10/8/2022. Let's save this IC demo the same way. So I'm going to save the grid as, and I'm just going to call this IC demo -2. Boom. So now I have 2 variations of this chart of this package. So there's IC demo 11/8/2022, and there's IC demo 2 11/8/2022. And again, you can do whatever you want. Typically in my case, I would be tweaking with some study. You can do any study you want, but in addition to that, you have other options. You can come here to the chart settings, and you can do all kinds of stuff. Let's say you wanted to add, or don't want to show, you don't want to show any orders you've got out there. You don't want to show, you want to change something about your axis or whatever you want to do. You can do it inside here, and if you say save it, it's going to capture it. Now all of that's pretty cool, but these guys here, the chart grids that you have, that you've saved down here, these are all well and good, but they do not save anything about watch lists. If you wanted to capture the watch list configuration, you have to use the gear up here. And the gear kind of works the same way. So you can, let's go to a different spot. I want to change this to, yeah, we'll leave it as PM. We'll leave it as Philip Morris over here. I'm going to change to a specific grid. I'm going to just put this on chart number 2. Happens this little guy right here, and I'm sitting on Philip Morris, and I'm going to say save this grid, save the workspace, save the workspace as, and I can keep the same name. Enter workspace name. I can just do IC demo dash 11 dash 8 dash 2022. So it looks cool. And now, oops, underscores are not allowed. All right, take you out of there. IC demo, save. So now what it has captured, this guy is captured. If I go to a different demo, here's demo assets. It captures the whatever the watch list was, plus whatever also was saved at the time in regards to the grid that was currently active when you did it. So if I go back here to the bar and I say demo IC, here it is, IC demo 11/8/2022. That's the one we just created. It's going to put us back onto Philip Morris, which is where we were at, plus whatever. So here is how you would go in and set up your custom watch list. Because if you don't do this, and if you want to have a specific watch list scenario, you have to have a given workspace defined for it, because as soon as you turn your machine off, as soon as you change anything, you're automatically going to lose whatever energy you spent to get your workspace, get your watch list scored away. And to me, that's a really that's the reason for having this nifty watch list set up to do this. So I don't know, I guess that may be it. But again, like I said, everything that I do in here, I've got a date on everything, so I can go down the line and look at it and see exactly where I'm at. And if I have to add something, I kind of know what the dates are at. They're setting up in there as well. So I will say one thing: if you go and you happen to look at this thing, and this thing says, this watch list says IC demo 2, and for whatever reason you go to and let's say you change this. So our particular watch list does not have this last chart set up. We don't have that. But let's say that we did. Let's say that we did in fact turn it on, and I'm just going to move over here, and all I'm going to do is turn this to vanilla red. So there's nothing here, it's just the simple chart. So if I were to save this grid, as IC demo 2, because I'm still playing with it, save workspace as, I'm just going to update it, IC demo, yeah, I'm just going to update that one right there. Cool, we're going to overwrite it. So now when we bring it back, close this guy, we actually have something here. But since I overwrote the last guy, and it looked like I overwrote IC demo 2, it's really not quite the case, because if you come back to I'm sorry here, I want to load up from here. Let's say that I go to IC demo 2, you're going to discover that the version that you had right here, IC Demo 2 11.8.2022, that was what was saved here, you know, based on the grid. But when you saved the workspace, or when you opened up the workspace to IC Demo 11.8.2022, it's a little confusing. I take it all back. It's very confusing as to why it does it. I didn't create the rules. I'm just telling you that's how it works. But in any case, I thought I'd go through and try and give you some foundational background as to what you could do for managing your charts, because I truly hope that you will take the time to try and master how to do this, because I think if you begin to understand you know, how to manage your charts, how to manage your workspace, I believe you can get a lot more out of the TOS platform. And that's the reason I'm taking the time to you know, try and explain it. So anyway, that's pretty much is what I want to talk about on this particular subject. We'll catch you later. Bye.